What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to an epic video. I have been participating in the Arrohh Draft League. Arrohh is a fellow Pokemon Go PvP streamer. Go check him out, link in the description. But basically, 32 of the best battlers in the world compete in a league, and it's a draft league. So each of the 32 of us banned one Pokemon that nobody would be allowed to pick. So the Azus, the Gfis, all that are out of the way. You have to pick a little more off meta. And then we all picked our team of 6 in a draft format. For those that follow American sports, I'm sure you're well aware how a draft works. But yeah, when we compete against one another in our separate divisions over the course of the season, the people that had the best records in each division got to make the playoffs and compete for a potential $750 championship prize or a $500 runner-up prize. So some nice cash on the line. And we're going to go through my run in the playoffs and see how things ended up for me. And in the quarterfinals, I'm playing against none other than Vani, who, if you guys are unfamiliar with Vani, you should get to know him. He doesn't necessarily create content, so he might not be quite as well known as someone like myself or FP Sticks or that sort, or King or Zionic, but he is in the conversation for the top battler in the world. I have my teammate Dunebug as number 1 until I think someone proves otherwise. But if you look at the Sylph global player rankings, Vani is currently number 1 in the world by a hefty margin. Look at this. I'm number 7 down here. And like, look at Vani, almost 2 little sections ahead of everyone else. You click on his player profile, and this dude has been beasting and feasting since the early days of Sylph. Let's back out of here. Switch to arena view. I think I gotta go down here actually. So he's currently number 1 in the world. Last season, number 2 in the world, right behind Dunebug. Season 2, number 6 in the world. In season 1, a little bit further down, but look at that win rate, 84% win rate. So just consistently one of the best battlers in the world. And we've traded a lot of games back and forth over the past year. We've played each other a lot, whether it's for Team USA versus Team Spain or just Sylph in general. So when I first started playing Vani, I think I kind of had his beginner's luck in a way. I beat him a bunch of times. Then he started to figure me out a little bit, and he beat me a bunch of times in a row. And we're going to see how this one plays out. So, oh God. Okay, that was weird. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But we look at our teams. I have a pretty strong team with a Shadow Obama Snow, Primeape, and AWAC. Those are kind of my big 3. I lead Ape into Jirachi. This is not ideal. I swap immediately into my Wormadam, and it's a Bug Bite Wormadam. And the strategy here is by safe swapping the Wormadam, I know I can lure out this Diggersby, because what else really does well against the Wormadam? Not much. I guess the Escavalier does pretty well. But I can take one Fire Punch, and I can just chip this away, and this is so my AWAC avoids the Diggersby. Because the only strong answers he really has for AWAC are Alomomola and Diggersby. I'm going to get a counter down here against the Diggersby. I know he's at an Earthquake or a Hyper Beam if he's running it, so I do shield. I know after he just threw a Fire Punch, this has to be another Fire Punch, so no reason to shield here. A nice little bait by him to not reveal his move and also do some chip damage. Going to get off a Night Slash here. And I was really happy actually to get that shield, because now I'm going to get a little bit of a head start on energy here. I decided to shield the Psychic because I was predicting it might be Celio. And check this out. You see what we're running. I posted this as a short on the channel. Fire Blast coming in handy. Boom. One-shots the Celio with a shield still in play. And yeah, I ran a lot of obscure movesets in this matchup. And if you look at Vani's team, where does Bone Club really help me? if I'm against Alomomola, I'm going to Shadow Bone it anyway. If I'm against Jirachi, it's already a dominant matchup. I don't really need Bone Club for that to be a better matchup. If you look at Celio, I'm pretty much never going to Bone Club it. I'm going to go Shadow Bone. And then Escav, obviously a dominant matchup. Whimsicott, a dominant matchup. Diggersby, definitely want Fire Blast to at least have some play against Diggersby. If I can farm something down, like a Whimsicott, for example, I don't want all my energy to go to waste against Diggersby. I want to be able to hit it back. So Fire Blast was more so targeted for the Diggersby, but that game, it comes in handy because if we rewind a little bit, and I will do a little bit of breaking down in some of these battles. If we rewind a little bit and you're wondering why didn't Vonnie shield, there's really no reason for him to shield, right? Because Celio can tank a Shadow Bone, right? And my shields are down, so he knows he can tank a Shadow Bone, he can Water Pulse me, take me out, and then Primeape will farm down and he saves the shield for Jirachi so he can Confusion down my Primeape before my Primeape gets to a move. So there was really no reason for him to shield, and that's why I went straight for the Fire Blast, and it flipped the outcome there. So now we're going to go on to game 2. And I'm thinking, based off of my last team, I was really weak to Alomomola. I didn't really bring an answer to it, so this time I'm going to bring in the Abomasnow. And Vonnie's going to be in for a surprise. I'm able to call the Alomomola lead, and check this out. He swaps, and look at this. Razor Leaf Abomasnow. Just shredding the opposition. And while Abomasnow is putting in work here, I take the Body Slam, my Razor Leaf down. I'm getting ready to potentially swap if he comes in with a hard counter, but no. The Diggersby comes in. So Abomasnow, he runs a triple weak to Grass line. And Abomasnow is able to just shred. This game was GG's as soon as we locked in our 3. So just pretty much tap from here. Gonna throw a Weather Ball, and it'll actually dip into Primeape. Just so I don't get farmed down, and Primeape is just gonna significantly outpace this Alomomola. And if you're wondering why did I go for Razor Leaf, I mean, a little bit lucky there that he ran triple weak to Grass line, not expecting Razor Leaf. But if you look at his team, Powder Snow, Powder Snow is a little bit worse against a lot of things, right? It's worse against Alomomola because I have to rely on landing the Energy Ball. It's worse against Celio because once again I have to rely on landing the Energy Ball. For Diggersby, you could probably go either way, right? Both are going to deal super effective. For Whimsicott, it hurts me against Whimsicott. I actually dropped that matchup except for the Zero Shield with Razor Leaf. But because of my other counters for it, AWAC, Worm, and Abomasnow that he didn't know was Razor Leaf, I felt like it was unlikely that he brings the Whimsicott. So Abomasnow, although Razor Leaf forces me to drop the Whimsicott matchup, it makes the Celio matchup, the Alomomola matchup, and the Diggersby matchup all way more one-sided. And now we go into game 3. And also the reason I was running Bug Bite on Worm is it helps you win the Jirachi matchup. I think that's the main reason, really. Confusion is kind of similar everywhere else, but yeah, it helps me win the Jirachi matchup. So Bug Bite, Worm against Diggersby here. This is not a good lead, but I'm at least glad my Marowak is avoiding this thing. And I'm going to land a Bug Buzz here. I tried to catch. I'm unsuccessful. It was CMP tie. And I did get the defense drop, which is kind of nice. So here I'm going to make a read that he's going to double up and then throw. So I throw as he doubles up on fire, or I catch as he doubles up on fire punches. I lure out the Jirachi. I'm not going to get to a close combat, so I just go for the Night Slash. And does some nice chip damage. and puts this Jirachi extremely low. So at this point, I'm trying to make a call because I know Vani likes to run ABB. So I'm trying to make a call that it's Escavalier and back. And I'm going to try and tank this energy on my Wormadam. And this way, my Marowak will keep a lot of health. Because what good is my Wormadam really... What is my Wormadam good for at this point? Nothing. So I just use it to absorb a move, kind of as another shield. And now we've got this dominant matchup here. Fire Spin sneaks through. I decide to let this go, the drill run go, which seems insane, I know. But I was expecting Earthquake on his Diggersby, and I did not want to use my shield, get baited by Fire Punch, and have him get to an Earthquake here. So that's why I let the drill run go. It turns out when I watched the stream back after the fact, Vani's actually running Hyper Beam. Because based off of the Sims, Gyarados is actually really good against his team. But I never brought it. And will we be able to Fire Spin down first? We will. Counter's doing double resisted damage. Fire Spin's doing double super effective damage. And we take the win. So GG's to Vani. One of the best to ever do it, really. When we go back years and years from now. Oh, oops. Rewind a little bit. When you look back years and years from now, if Pogo PvP has developed into an even larger scene, I mean, Vani's going to go down as one of the greatest battlers of all time. And if I can at least be in the conversation with him, I'm doing something right. So, can get rid of that. That's the quarterfinals. So this means we're moving on to the semifinals against Auburn. Oops. What are you doing here, Rise? There we go. Now, semifinals against Auburn. So I introduced Vani. And now against Auburn, if you're not familiar with this cool cat, he is, I believe, #1 on the all-time GBL leaderboard, which means over the history of these 10 seasons of Go Battle League, Auburn has the average highest leaderboard placement of anybody. He's hit #1 on the Go Battle League leaderboard so many times. He's consistently way up there. And just an incredible battler. I'd like to think for myself, I'm better at competitive, like, Show 6 Pick 3 formats than I am at Go Battle League. Auburn is in the conversation for the best Go Battle League player of all time. And a lot of those, like 90% of those skills translate, honestly, into your gameplay, into Show 6 Pick 3. There's just a little bit more, I think, team building, a different style of team building involved. So we hop into game 1 here. AWAC into Zweilous. Pretty terrible lead. I swap Gyarados, hoping to lure out the Meganium. But this is still a bad situation because I know it's possible that there's an Alolan Marowak in back. So if I let this go, I'm pretty much doomed. So I figure at this point, to stay alive, I'm just going to go down 2 shields and take switch advantage back. And maybe this way I'll at least have a chance. But the thing is, this is still horrible because shields down, like, Zweilous can just Dark Pulse Abomasnow and it's going to do a ton of damage. So I'm going to get off a crunch here. Maybe I could have got to 3 Aqua Tails if I had just gone for Aqua Tails. That's possible. I don't think so. I thought I was going to get to 2 moves no matter what. I'm going to aggressive swap into AWAC here. And this is looking pretty horrible. He lands the Shadow Bone, gets the defense drop. I should have baited here, like, I don't know. I should have baited here. I felt like it's one of those, I didn't follow the Rise rule of baiting, right? Never, always, sometimes bait 50% of the time, occasionally. And it was one of those situations, I felt like the bait was so obvious, maybe I just go for it. So it didn't work out. And Abomasnow is toast here. Abomasnow is absolutely toast. Gonna get shredded. and we dropped game 1 to Auburn. So here in the semifinals, this is a big matchup because whoever wins gets some guaranteed money. Second place gets 500 bucks, as I said, and first place 750 bucks. So this is to get some guaranteed cash for all of the time we've put into this league. Great lead here, great counter swap. So first game I got kind of RPS, second game here I'm kind of RPSing Auburn. I shield the body slam and I can counter all the way down here, I think. Yeah, I counter all the way down. I am running close combat, and that's another moveset decision I had to make. Because if you look at his team, some of you might be wondering why no Ice Punch. You can have Ice Punch to cover Golbat, Ice Punch to cover Meganium, even Zweilous as well. But my thought process is close combat is such a powerful, hard-hitting move. Close combat, you can actually flip the Wormadam matchup by Night Slash baiting and then landing the close combat. You actually win that matchup. And like Golbat's already a bad matchup, even if I have Ice Punch. And Meganium, like Ice Punch is such a weak move. I feel like close combat would come in more handy anyway. So I just didn't, and close combat as well for Blastoise, you're gonna see is also gonna come in handy. So here we go. These are best of 5s, by the way, not best of 3s. So in comes Meganium. I'm gonna go for a close combat here. Gets the shield. I think he was probably expecting Ice Punch, which is why he shielded. Gonna go for another CC, does a ton of damage. Gonna wait out my full switch clock to make sure I'm not locked in there when he switches. We swap in to meet his whack, and this is pretty much just RPS City. I did also go with Mudshot Stunfisk, and the reason is because it helps me against Marowak, because Marowak actually can win the 0 shield against Stunfisk if you're running Thunder Shock, because 2 Mud Bombs isn't going to quite KO, and if the Marowak has good enough IVs, it's going to get to 2 Shadow Bones and actually take out the Stunfisk with a little bit of health. Versus Mudshot, Marowak shouldn't be able to do that, because the Mudshots will add up a lot more than Thunder Shocks would. And Mudshot also gives me a little bit of a better time against Zweilous, where I'm at least dealing neutral damage with my fast move. So we're able to flip game number 2. Both games so far pretty RPS. I don't think there's a whole lot either player could have done differently in these first 2 games. So hopefully we get more of a neutral game 3. Here we go. I'm going with the AWAC once again. And we're in the mirror here. AWAC versus AWAC. Both of us trying to sneak in a Fire Spin. He tries to catch on Zweilous, and he lures out my Primeape. So I'm trying to think, like, what the heck could be in back if he's trying to lure out my Primeape? I'm really not sure. Only thing that makes sense would be, like, Blastoise or Meganium. So I throw the Night Slash there. I might have been able to do one more counter, but I throw the Night Slash just to be safe. In comes Blastoise, and I go for a bait here, really hoping to get the shield. I get the shield. Trying to get to the close combat. I wasn't sure if I'd get there. It would have been really close. I might have been able to get there, but I get the next shield. I combo play here because I know it's Marowak, right? So I combo play to get off this damage here. And I lure out his Marowak. And after he swaps here, I think this is good game. Even if he threw the move, it was probably good game as well. That combo play and getting that Shadow Bone off on Blastoise did me a lot of good. He does farm me down completely. I make a bit of a mistake here, waiting out my switch clock. What I didn't want to happen is, I don't even know what I was thinking. Maybe I wanted to give myself a chance to catch on Primeape or something, but like by waiting on my switch clock there, I'm going to give him the opportunity to catch or to swap out here. Versus if I had just If I had just come in right away, I could have farmed him down completely. This would have been a little bit more comfortable. But we take him out anyway. Should have discharged the Blastoise, obviously. But luckily, Mud Bomb was enough to KO. I just, these high pressure situations, right? You get to Mud Bomb and Thunder and discharge at the same time. But I just went for the Mud Bomb thinking like I get there first in this stressful moment. All right. We didn't bring the Obama Snow last time. Did we bring it in the other game? Let me rewind. We didn't bring Obama Snow game 3. Did we bring it game 2? I'm forgetting. No, so we haven't brought Obama Snow in like 3 games. Okay. Sorry. We haven't brought Obama Snow in like 3 games. So I'm going to bring it in the lead this time. And I catch the Zweilous. Good lead for me. Now, Zweilous actually wins this matchup in the 2 shield. Zweilous wins this matchup in the 2 shield. So if he's willing to expend 2 shields here, I am not going to stay in to find out if I can somehow get to a 3rd Weather Ball, because I'm not supposed to be able to get to a 3rd Weather Ball here, especially with that Dragon Breath sneaking through there. So I'm going to throw this, get out of here, swap Gary, lure out the Meganium, and at this point, I'm feeling good. Because once Meganium is gone, there's really nothing on his team that really deals with my Stunfisk too well. I get the Crunch debuff as well, which is really nice. I'm going to definitely let Gary go here. I'm just going to come in right away here, not let him switch out or do anything crazy. And I'm going to sack the Obama Snow, hoping I can Mudshot down here before another Frenzy. And that Crunch debuff really helps me out, lets me Mudshot down. I'm not sure if I would have been able to, probably definitely would have been able to without that debuff. And we do call the Marowak in back, so our Obama Snow would have been useless. No reason for us to have shielded him. And it's pretty straightforward from here. Just straight Mud Bomb. He catches on the Zweilous, but it doesn't really matter because I would have to Mud Bomb this thing anyway. It's pretty healthy still. I kind of lost track of energy here. I knew a Dark Pulse would do more than a Shadow Bone, so I shielded. He didn't actually even have a Dark Pulse, so my counting was pretty poor there. Take the Shadow Bone. I know he's still like a couple Fire Spins away, so that's why I do 1 Mud Shot first. I didn't want to take the risk of him sneaking a free one. And there we go. After dropping game 1, we're able to win 3 in a row against Auburn. We took down number 1 in the world, Vani, as well. And we're moving on to the finals against the young fella, ILQM. And we are in the finals. I wonder how old is this young fella, ILQM, but I know the graphic is a little bit weird there. I don't know why it's like that, but that was the graphic they gave for our teams. And if you look at our teams, my Marowak is pretty busted against his team, and his Trevenant is pretty busted against my team. Marowak beats, like, it beats Cast Form, it beats Melmetal, it loses to Gary, but it can at least fight back with Shadow Bone. It probably beats Dedenne, I'm not sure, but I would assume it does. And then the Trevenant matchup is kind of sketchy. Trevenant, I believe, wins the 1s and the 0s, but loses the 2s. So, and if you look at my team, Trevenant just kind of wreaks havoc. It beats Primeape, it beats Gary, it beats Worm, it destroys Stunfisk. It's a weird matchup against Whack, and it loses to Obama Snow, but you're going to see Trev actually can put in some work. So this is a really interesting series. There's some amazing games in here, and we're going to recap it. All right, wait, I wanted to check if I can see how old ILQM is, just because I'm curious for my own. Let's see. Let's see this kid. I'll start the battle, and I'll see if I can find over on the side. So we are locked in the grand finals. Winner gets $750. Loser gets $500. Oh, he's 20 years old. He's a little bit older than I thought. I thought he was a high schooler. But no, he's only a couple of years younger than your boy. Both of us rocking the Season 10 Legend pose in the grand finals here. Okay. I went forward like 17 seconds. Abomasnow versus Trevenant. Terrific lead for me. He's staying in for a bit, which kind of catches me off guard. I'm going to throw my Weather Ball here against the Primeape just to soften it. And then I come in with Whack. I'm going to see if I can Fire Spin down here. Primeape going to get to a Night Slash. And I actually throw the Bone Club here before he gets to his second Night Slash, because I don't want to have to commit a shield if I don't have to. I'm wondering what's going to come in. The Trev comes in. Interesting. He sneaks in a free Shadow Claw. So this is kind of bad because this Trev's going to get a lot of energy, but these Fire Spins are really adding up, which is great for me because this puts it almost into like Powder Snow down range. Gonna wait out my full switch clock, come in with Obama. I sneak in a Powder Snow back. That sneak is huge. And I correctly show the Shadow Ball, which puts me in a really comfortable position now. If I had been baited, would have been a lot sketchier. I get the last shield from the Weather Ball, and now that I've gotten that last shield, I can already see what the win con is. I can just tank the move here on Primeape. Just gonna be an Aqua Tail. I'm gonna let myself get as low as possible to give as minimal farm for the Trevenant, and close combat should do way over necessary here to KO, even though it's resisted. And we Powder Snow down. He had a double up there, wasn't able to. So that's just like a simple play, right? Some of you guys might, in that situation, if you're the Primeape, Night Slash here. But Night Slash would have been pretty costly because the Gyarados would have survived the Night Slash and got to a move against my Abomasnow. So I might have lost if I had Night Slashed here. Knowing that close combat is such a hard-hitting move, right? It's going to do way more damage than a Night Slash. And that just allows us to seal the deal there. So we take a Game 1 win, and we're off to Game 2. Primeape versus Gary here. Primeape actually wins the 1 shield, I believe. Primeape wins the 1 shield, and Gary wins the 0 and the 2. But I decide I don't want to go down a shield here. And you know, maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I should have. Because he swaps in Trev. And I'm predicting that there's Primeape in the back. So I'm saving my Worm for the Primeape. Sneaks in another Shadow Claw. A lot of sneaks coming through. And I did get baited as well. Defense fell, which is pretty nice for me. I'm just going to let this go at this point because if he uses all the energy for a Shadow Ball, then I would have just been able to farm down. So he gets the 2 C-Bombs anyway, so it's kind of the same result either way. Confusion down here. Hoping it's Primeape. But the scary thing is Primeape can actually beat Wormadam. It's actually a simul KO in the 0 shield, I believe. And he comes here, and I'm thinking my win con is to Confusion down and double Iron Head, but at this point, I know he's got to move on Ape, and I just have to let my Wormadam go. So a really tricky endgame there. And some of you might have been thinking, like, Rise, or like as soon as you saw the Wormadam, like, oh, Rise has got this, but it's a lot trickier than you think. The win con, it took me a while to figure out what I should have done here. It took me a while to figure out what I should have done. So I'll show you what I should have done. I confusion down. Primeape's going to come in. Let's count the counters on Ape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the Primeape has doubled up on Iron Heads, or sorry, on Night Slashes. So my win condition at this point, what I should have done is I should throw both Iron Heads right here at the Gyarados. I throw both Iron Heads here. I take it out because he kind of has to shield. And then I hope that the Primeape either doesn't boost or I sneak into confusion. So like if I throw both Iron Heads right here, I take out the Gyarados. And then if I go on PV Poke, let's see, how much would a Night Slash have done? Wormadam versus Primeape. My Wormadam has pretty trash IVs, so I'll plug in those IVs. A Night Slash does 25%. So, let's see. 25%. Is that more than 25%? Is that less? I don't know. It's really tough to tell. If I had to guess, I think that's... Oh, you know what? After those Dragon Breaths, though, I think that's less than 25%. I think I was at more. But did I go past 2? Let's see. We're just trying to see if I could have won this. So right there, I had 2. And I kept confusioning. So if I just double Iron Head there and I sneak into confusion, I win the game. So it's hard to call it a throw in my opinion because it was such a quick instant, but yeah, definitely a winnable game. Tough one. And when I watched it back, the King and Wholesome, 2 amazing guys and streamers, shoutcasting, they were like, and the insane play by Ilium to bank the 2 Night Slashes, get to an Aqua Tail, which it was really well played, but I think it was more of just a misplay by me to not recognize in that situation to double Iron Head. But yeah, even King, who has done more so content than competitive gameplay, like I consider him one of the most knowledgeable and one of the best battlers in the community. And like even him and Wholesome, who's always towards the top of the GBL leaderboards, like if you watch back the stream, they're like trying to think like, what could Rise have done? Like, does he like, no, because if he throws the energy, then he just gets double Night Slashed. So like they were trying to figure it out too. But yeah, the win con there would have been throwing both of my Iron Heads immediately at the Gyarados and then hoping a confusion sneaks through or I survive a Night Slash. That's the win con. Okay, so game 3, terrific lead here against Ape. My opponent swaps in Gyarados. I don't have an obvious swap in here. And I also didn't want to swap in my Abomasnow right away because I don't want to allow the Primeape to completely farm me down. So I land the Bug Buzz. I get the Defense Fell. Lots of Defense Fells for me in this set. I think he snuck in an invisible counter there. I get a Weather Ball here. Just going to throw it right away. Nothing fancy. A little bit of desync. He throws right before I get there. Nice timing by Ilium. I'm not going to bother shielding, and I'm actually expecting... Trev in back. And I didn't want to switch lock myself and give the Trev a bunch of farm, so that's why I come in here. The Night Slash does chunk. He doesn't want to register the Fire Spin on Trev. And this is going to be a close game, man. A Shadow Claw sneaks through yet again. So I'm going to register the Shadow Claw onto my Wormadam. if I can get this thing into like Bone Club range, I'm hoping I can just double Bone Club. That's what I'm thinking here. And if you're wondering why on Earthrise are you not shielding, I saw this comment in the stream when I watched it back as well. Like, why would Rise not shield at this point? Here's the reason. I think Cochino Mum was rooting against me the whole tournament. But she was like, why no shield? The reason I no shield this is if I shield this, the Trevenant potentially just farms me down and double moves my Marowak. Or if I shield this, the Trevenant can, because I'm not quite at the, yeah, I'm still kind of far away from the Iron Head. I'm still 2 confusions away, I believe. So if I shield this, the Trev can just do like 4 Shadow Claws, Seed Bomb again, and then get to 2 moves against my Marowak. So I really can't shield this Seed Bomb. I just can't. I have to rely on fast moves. And at this point, Rise. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Oh, I went back too far. Sorry. Shoot. Okay. All right. So you see how much health I have. You see how much health he has. These Shadow Claws are going to KO me before the Fire Spins. I'm also not going to get to 2 Bone Clubs. So I throw a Hail Mary. I throw a Hail Mary Shadow Bone, 10% debuff chance. I also got the denial there, throwing on alignment for the first time like all series. I throw the Shadow Bone. I get the debuff. And 1 Fire Spin KOs. 1 Fire Spin KOs. Oh my god. One of the best moments. Man, I jumped out of my chair, to be honest. I was so excited. And I take a 2-1 lead here in the Grand Finals. 2 wins away. This is a best of 7. Best of 7. I don't think I said that. 2 wins away from taking it all. And we'll see if Ilium can make the adjustments. Primate versus Melmetal. Terrific lead for me. But in comes the immediate Primate swap. I throw a Night Slash right away. He gets a sneak. Another sneak. And he doesn't shield. I swap in the Whack now. I'm expecting Trevenant in the back. There's no reason for him to not bring Trevenant every game. And he gets off another one here. I commit the shield. So, here's the thing. Not only do I think I would have barely survived. I think I would have barely survived that Night Slash from this range. So I didn't really need to commit that shield. I make a huge mistake here. I make a huge mistake. I do 3 Fire Spins to double up and get off this Shadow Bone before he can get off a Rock Slide. But what this is going to allow Ilium to do is throw his Rock Slide and win CMP here, which doesn't allow me to get off that energy. So what I should have done here is thrown right now, or even after 1 Fire Spin. But I should have thrown now. And what this would allow is for me to Shadow Bone. And even if he sneaks, I would also get a Bone Club before he gets to another move. But instead, I threw after 3 Fire Spins, which is just waiting too long. And I'm essentially letting all this extra energy that I built up on my Marowak go to waste. And now I'm down a shield. And I'm expecting Trev. And I'm a little too slow there. I'm a little too slow. Look at this. Like, I should already be thinking almost blind, like come in Primate, blind swap Obama. And look at this. I do 1 counter. I do 2 counters before I swap out. Should have been 1 counter max. Move coming through. It could be a Shadow Ball. If the Shadow Ball and I don't shield it, I lose. So I shield. And he baits. Really nicely done. In my opinion, there was no need for him to bait. I think he can just go straight Shadow Ball at this point. But, You know, actually, you see the Powder Snow is adding up, so maybe if he had gone straight Shadow Ball, my Primeape actually could have, like, countered down or something crazy. And this is game over. So just a really horribly played game 4 by me. I made so many mistakes. If we just rewind it a little, once again to the start, I guess. I get the good lead. The Primeape safe swap throws me off. Like, how should I have played this? Because if I swap Whack, Primeape straight up wins the 0 shield against Whack. So I'm going to have to commit a shield there. Potentially go down a shield to keep switch. And then risk getting farmed down. And then, like, the Trev farming down my Whack up a shield, then just puts in work against my back line. So this is where Ilium has figured out the Primeape safe swap and Trev with either shield or energy advantage is busted for him. Then again, though, like, even with that, this game was so winnable. We saw me overfarm too much here. Overfarmed too much. Only got off 1 Shadow Bone instead of 2 moves. I could have, if I had overfarmed less, I would have got off a Shadow Bone and a Bone Club. And Ilium takes the win. So we're all tied up at 2-2 now. It's anybody's game. It's essentially a best of 3 at this point. First person to win 2 games wins. You see Rise thinking, what do I bring? What do I bring? I had a really good ability here to read what I thought Ilium was going to lead. Or Elam. Apologies, my man, if I'm mispronouncing your name. Elam. So I read the Trevenant lead. In comes Primeape. This time I swap AWAC pretty much right away. Gonna always take the first Night Slash. You never want to shield the first one. Shadow Bone right away. But remember, he's starting with like a 2 counter head start because that's swap in. And at this point, I decide to let it go. And King had some really nice commentary when this was happening. So if we keep track of the counters, right? We're going in depth here in the finals. Abomasnow versus Trev. He swaps 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's at 9. Remember, it's 5 to every Night Slash. So he's got 4 residual. 4 residual counters. He throws on alignment. So here's the significance of that. He throws after 3 counters, which puts him at 7. So he's 3 away. And he got the denial. So I'm 2 fire spins away. He's 3 counters away. So if I shield this, he wins CMP on the next Night Slash. So I really can't shield this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go down 2 shields. So theoretically, I could have shielded and farmed, but I don't think I can even farm down from that range. So I have to let this go. The Primeape has now taken back switch. I come in with my own ape. And he's going to get off a move here. I'm putting this all on Abomasnow at this point. Going to get off a Night Slash here for some chip against Trev. I swap, he swaps. I've still got 2 shields, but you see how oppressive these Dragon Breaths are. I go for the Energy Ball here. If I land this, it wins me the game. But he shields it. Very smart. Man. And I just barely not going to get to 2 Weather Balls here. Yeah, one fast move, and I lose with 2 shields. So once again, a tricky game, man. So like, let's see, what could I have done differently there? Because to the untrained eye, that sounds so like, that sounds so bad. It kind of seems like I threw right, like good lead, good safe swap, would have had a good matchup in back. But like, what could I have done differently? I could have baited here, I guess. I could have baited here, I guess. But that's kind of just like a 50-50 call. I let it go. I come in 8. What if I shield 8? Maybe if I shield Ape here, I'm in a better spot. Because I'm not really at risk of getting farmed down. Yeah, probably shielding Ape. And at this point, how much does a Weather Ball do? Abomasnow against Gary. Weather Ball does 47%, so let's see. Let's pretend I Weather Ball there. Yeah, I think I win. I think I win. Yeah, so we pretend I Weather Ball here. I've done 8 Powder Snows. I get the shield. So it would have been the same health, right? 1. So I'd be 5 away from 2 Weather Balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 for good measure. This Weather Ball KOs, as we see. So another throw. Man, that's tough. Ugh, that's tough. Yeah, through that game. So it really just came down to making multiple wrong calls. And what I'm thinking here, what I was thinking here was if he calls the Weather Ball bait, I was thinking if he calls the Weather Ball bait, I probably get Dragon Breath down before I get to 2 Weather Balls. But that was not the case. That was not the case. I would have gotten to 2 Weather Balls here, as you see. Would have actually been like 1 over 2 Weather Balls. So just another mistake. Oh, that's brutal. So I'd say game 2, really tough last minute decision that I just that I just couldn't really figure out in the moment. Game 5, yeah, I think all 3 of my losses really have been extremely winnable. And just making the wrong calls. So right now, we're in a hole. We're a little bit discouraged, right, mentally. I stood up for a sec. I did some push-ups, tried to clear my mind. Another terrific lead. And we're already expecting the Marowak. If you're wondering why do I come in, or the Primeape rather, if you're wondering why I come in Marowak instead of Wormadam, it's because I'm expecting that there's the Gyarados again and back. And if I come in Wormadam here, I potentially get farmed down by Trev. He gets a shield advantage, and then the Gyarados just kind of sweeps. So I'm thinking a lot ahead of time. Gonna go for a Shadow Bone here. He's been shielding them every single time. I haven't been able to successfully bait. Shields it again. Gets another denial. Night Slash coming through here. He's dry at this point, but at this point I was a little bit just like scared. Another sneak. So I just go for the Bone Club to make sure. He comes in Gary. And here, I think I should have aggressively swapped Obama. But this is game over. This is game over. And I throw on CMP here, which is just worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. I guess could have caught that on Worm. Let's pretend I don't throw that on CMP. I get a shield. I come in Worm. He lands the Shadow Ball. Would have gotten to take him out here. And then maybe I can win. Yeah. Heartbreaking stuff. Heartbreaking stuff. This is a Shadow Ball. I stopped the recording there. Man, tough watching that over again. Kind of reminiscent of my World Championships performance from Sylph last year when I just made so many mistakes. And it's crazy, right? Because it was like through an entire season. If I can go over to Twitter for a second. Let's see. Put my phone up. Over the course of the season, I had the best record in my division. Second best record behind Wallower in the regular season for the whole league. Ilium was actually just slightly behind me, one game behind me. And in the playoffs there, you saw through 3 rounds and 3 games, had played pretty tremendously. And for some reason, I just couldn't close it out. And there's no excuses. I just really messed up. Ilium played really well. And like, that's one thing I've talked about. I have a bit of a issue, I guess, where I tend to just say, like, I tend to more so denigrate my own mistakes rather than give praise to the opponent. And that's not what I'm trying to do here, because I was thoroughly outplayed. Ilium deserved this 110%. Outplayed me ×2. But we break these games down, and it's like I think every single game I lost was winnable with just quicker reactions, choosing where to store moves and when to throw them properly. I overfarmed at one time with my Marowak. Just lots of little mistakes adding up, and you can't blame yourself too much, because it's a lot easier for me watching these back and saying what I should have done when I have all the time in the world. But it's tough, man. And I don't really care about the money. I don't care about the money. It's more so just it would have been nice to win the championship, especially when it was so winnable. Right there, 2 games away, and then I dropped 3 in a row, all of which were winnable. I think Ilium came in with a strategy, or he at least figured out the strategy, that Primeape could get a shield from anything, Trevenant could sweep. Versus I had been, to be honest, I had been kind of partying all weekend. I had a Marquette reunion with some of my college friends, so I hadn't really prepared at all for these games. And I think it showed. I think it showed that Ilium came in having practiced with his Elite Four teammates and came in with a strategy, and I was unprepared for this final. And I let my natural skills and talent get me to this final. But in the big moment, I was a little bit unprepared, and I made several crucial mistakes. And my emotion, this happened 2 days ago now. My emotions were really down for a while, feeling kind of sad, depressed because I had it really, and I kind of blew it, threw it away. But I realized like these are all winnable, correctable mistakes, and it just means I have room to improve as a battler. Because if I'm consistently in like the championships and the top ranks on Sylph on the leaderboard, and I still am making some of these silly mistakes and have room to improve, in a way, it's kind of like the sky's the limit, right? So that's the video. Really long one, dragged on. So if you made it this far, I appreciate the heck out of you. Definitely disappointed I couldn't get that done, but I'll get over it. I'm at the point where if I win 80% of my games, it's like I only remember the 20%, which is how I was in sports, right? Like you remember those brutal losses more than you remember the big wins. So yeah, gonna sting for a few days. Congrats to Ilium on winning the Arrohh Draft League Championship. Just a tremendous battler. I saw a lot of people posting he's the best in the world, which I think he's up there for sure. But it's kind of like in sports, right? Like someone has like a really good game, and you're automatically, people kind of jump to conclusions. Because I think I was 4-0 against Ilium up until this point in competitive formats. So certainly a battler to watch out for. Only 20 years old, and I'm certainly gonna, I'm sure, win a lot more tournaments to come. So, man, tough pill to swallow, but we'll be back. We're not quitting, and we are hopefully gonna win some more big tournaments in the time to come this year. And yeah, all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Comment anything you'd like down below. All comments help us out. And all that said, one more time, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.